So, what are gender stereotypes? Gender stereotypes are defined as personal beliefs about gender differences in traits and behavior largely attributable to socialization. Standardized representation of men and women within a culture, particularly in the mass media, which polarize differences between the sexes, notably in their physical appearance, traits, behaviors, and occupations. The stereotypes are so widely known that on the basis of identity, any one element of the gender stereotype, such as physical appearance, for example, people regularly make inferences about other elements associated with it. Hence, the widespread use of such stereotypes as a convenient shorthand in the various fiction genres in the mass media. Such representations are widely regarded as a key factor in gender role socialization, functioning as a conservative influence on cultural reproduction. They have often been studied using content analysis and semiotic approaches. So, with that being said, let's discuss the background of gender stereotypes. One of the challenges of studying sex differences has been accounting for the role of culture. Even when apparent differences in the structure of the brain can be observed, there is always that possibility that they arise through nurture rather than through nature. And we know the brain is plastic, meaning it can be molded by experience and training. So, even with the birth of a child, a boy and girl may have different experiences as soon as they enter the world, as certain behaviors are subtly encouraged. So, in order to better understand this concept, I'm going to use the example of a construction toy like a Lego or even a game of Tetris. As the child plays, rotating bricks and finding increasingly inventive ways to fit them together into new structures, they will be building the neural networks involved in visual and spatial processing. Then, as you get to school, you might perform slightly better at those tasks and be praised for your abilities, meaning you'll continue to practice them. Eventually, you may even find a profession that asks you to spend all day, every day, strengthening those abilities. Now, if all those toys and training opportunities are gendered, then you can start getting what looks like a clear gender divide based on the biological sex of an individual, as opposed to the different training opportunities that the individual has had. These psychologists have shown that the apparent sex differences in spatial cognition diminish when you account for the amount of time someone has spent playing video games like Tetris, for instance. A few campaigns like Let Toys Be Toys in the UK and Play Unlimited in Australia have had some success in persuading retailers to change their gendered marketing. But in general, many have argued that children are still being pigeonholed in many other ways. So, if we believe that there are profound and fundamental differences between men and women's brains, and more than that the owners of those brains therefore have access to different skills or different temperaments or different personalities, that will definitely affect how we think about ourselves as males or females. It'll also affect how we think about other people and what their potential might be. So, to conclude my portion, I think that we need to accept that each of us has a different, unique brain and that our abilities cannot be defined by a single label, such as gender. And I think it's important to develop an understanding that every brain is different from every other brain, not necessarily just a function of the sex of the brain's owner.